Hey, welcome to the Thrivecast. It is a production of the Thrival organization, and Thrival has been around, going strong for almost 15 years, where firm owners come from all over the world to build community and grow and build their firms together through our programs, events, education, and conferences. And we want to say thank you to Bill. They are a sponsor of the Thrivecast and have been for many years. We're actually a 15-year user of Bill in our firm. So thank you, Bill, for helping us as we deploy Bill into a lot of our controllership and CAS work with our clients all across the country. Thank you, Bill, for being a sponsor of the Thrivecast. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Thrivecast. I'm so excited for our guest. We always have amazing guests that teach us about running firms and technology, whatever, growth, whatever things we're talking about. And if you don't know Chad Davis, my guest, then you do live under a rock with a lot of other people in the accounting profession. But Chad Davis, partner at LiveCA, really one of the original virtual firms from so long ago. God, I knew you, Chad, and Josh, your partner, for so long. And I just want to say thank you for coming to the Thrivecast, man. I'm excited to have you.
We cannot say thank you enough, because little known fact, like Jason was the person that first introduced us to 3-tiered pricing back in 2012.
Oh,
dude, you are the OG.
That long
now,
ago.
In honor of this, I prepared something. I went back and I spammed my friend list and said, what can you tell me about Jason Blumer? I said, I'm going to be recording this thing with him and I want to read off some messages. So if you'll indulge me, here we go.
Chad, are you about to embarrass me, man?
I'm about to make you blush more than your rosy cheeks are right now. All right. Number one, this is an anonymous person, but he'd probably let me say his name. My favorite part about Jason is how quirky and relatable he is. I've seen many presenters, but there's something about Jason that has an extremely human and relatable element on the stage and even off the stage.
Wow.
He's a stand-up guy and a stand-up friend. So you probably know this person.
Dude.
Now, number two. This is another one we got. I won't read them all off, but this was the second best one.
Okay.
All right. Now I need my glasses, kind of like you do. We're getting old.
That's right.
Dude, and this guy said, dude, it's his energy. He brings so much passion and enthusiasm to the industry and to what he does. It's hard for that not to wear off on everybody, and helps us remember we've got great companies in great industries. I love the man.
Very cool. Chad.
Big hugs, Jason. Big hugs, Jason.
Man. I didn't know you were gonna share that. That makes me feel very good, man. Yeah. Well, we're behind microphones, and we're like, I don't know if anybody's listening to this podcast. Don't know.
They listen.
Yeah.
Or their AI bots are listening and getting great summaries.
Right, great summaries. Right, and feeding that to us. So it's crazy. Well, thank you, Chad. You've been a friend for so long, decade probably. I don't know how long, but
I think we joined Thrive. We joined Thrival probably right in 2013.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well,
thank you. That's a sincere thank you from everybody. From everybody in the industry and those two specific people. We thank you, Jason, for your service. Now, this is not sending you off into the sunset or anything. You're not that old.
No, I'm not that old. No,
we're going to have a good chat today.
Yeah, we are. Well, this is, you're a perfect person to talk to. And it's because you have just tons of experience, right? So you've done a firm before the AI revolution. I don't know if that's what we're calling it now. Even before the cloud, I imagine. I don't know, but y'all are the first kind of out into the cloud. But I've been in the profession for 30 years, and we go through cycles, right? And there's all the fear, and then there's that didn't take my job, and then there's the it is amazing, kind of thing. So just tell me a little bit about your career with Josh, and I think mostly I want to dive into AI automation with you because those are the things we can learn so much from you. But I got to know a little bit about you and Josh, how y'all met, and you LiveCA, your site does have a great history. There's a great history that y'all have on there for you and Josh, but tell us how you got into this profession.
If I know anything about podcasts, this is where we lose the listeners.
Okay.
No one wants to hear about the person. They want to hear about what they can learn. So here's here's 4 bullet points, super fast.
Okay, there you
Number
go.
1, Canadian. Number 2, started in 2013, fully remote. And we've never had an office, and we kind of brought Zero to Canada initially. And there was a few other firms a little bit after us, but we were just kind of one of the first.
Yeah.
And then what that allowed us to do was ride this wave of curiosity and interest from the public. And when people were frustrated with existing solutions, like, I can do something online, that just allowed us to work with like the betterments of Canada, like one called Wealth Simple. We had a bunch of large companies that were not large at the time say like, of course we want to work online. This is exactly how accounting firms should be.
Yeah.
Boom. And we just kept getting great customers, and consequently, 3rd bullet point, great people along the way that wanted to join the cause and just kind of change things up a little bit. And I think that's my favorite part of telling any story about anything we've ever tried to build is that through the years, there's been people come, there's been people go, but they've all kind of left their mark in one shape or another on either a customer, a process, a way of thinking. And all we are today is the culmination of all of that 13 years later into this. We're 60 people now. We were 120. We'll get into that. And like we are the only thing that's majorly different is we changed our pricing, we changed our capacity modeling, we changed the apps that we serve, we changed all of our procedures and just continually made those changes. And wow, like looking back, you kind of wish you knew what you didn't know. Just to shave off 5 or 8 years. But I think we're all better for it in some shape or form, and that's where we're at today.
Yeah, we go through a lot of changes, and it's really cool. You did a lot to participate in mine and Ian Vason's book coming out. Your case study, all that stuff you shared, you kind of case studied that really through a lot of the book. And so I can't wait for that to come out, and kind of we learned so much from you and all that you did. So,
you want to hear a secret?
Yeah.
Ian gave me a copy to read on the plane before Atlanta.
Oh
yeah.
Dude, you must be the first person with a copy. And it has a bunch of warnings on it, right? Do not share this with anybody.
So many warnings. I wasn't even going to tell you, but I have told you. So I can't wait to read it. It's going to stay in the vault, and I think it's coming out like Q3, Q4, right?
Yeah, Q4, yeah. So
yeah, can't wait. But yeah, we'll chat about that in Atlanta.
Okay, I can't wait. Very cool.
I can't wait.
Okay. All right. So I made this post on LinkedIn. I'm sick of talking about automation. Well, turns out that's not going away anywhere soon. And you really have such a strategic view of using technology. I think you put it in its right category. It's a tool, y'all. It's not going to change your life. Ian says that a lot about his own technology, which is, Carbon, one of the most sophisticated tools, we've got. So, what do you do when it's like you get sick of talking about this and it's like, dude, this is so foundational. You are not going to stop talking about automation, and it's something you do. What am I supposed to do if I'm sick of it?
Oh man, I don't know. This is interesting. The reason I reached out to you off that LinkedIn post was because I feel like so many people are tired of everything in life, not just automation.
Well, that's true.
And you got so much coming at you, right? So I wonder if this is just another flavor of, what's the word? Attention grabbing, attention seeking. A couple other words might come to mind, but like it's one of those things. And just like anything that could be good in your life, if you can see the value in it, you'll probably put some time and effort into it. Some people do that with exercise.
Yeah.
I say some people because if you've seen me, it's not me.
or me.
Eating healthy, learn reading, right? Doing everything you can to eat great food for your brain, so you don't become mush when you're older. And I feel like this is just one flavor that can work within your firm, so that your firm doesn't go to mush too. And one of the things I'll always say in front of every presentation, every discussion I have with someone who's thinking about this is never even the third priority in your firm. It shouldn't be. There's more important things like your client list, your pricing, your business model, the people, how you want to work, all things you've harped on for a decade, right? And to me, automation is nothing more than a tool. It is this thing that you can turn off and on if you want to. But I feel like because it's just a little bit outside that comfort zone for a lot of accountants, like we're not trained in it. We're not taking courses on how to run techie stuff half the time. It becomes almost out of reach. And I guess if I was to leave any sort of mark on the accounting industry, I would want it to be in one of those like three areas of a great pricing model, a great company, a great place for people to work. And automation's there, but all I feel like I'm doing is I'm not ignoring it, and I'm not saying no to automation. Yeah.
Well, and when you don't, you see how enjoyable it is, right? And you can counter a lot of the fear mongering we hear, which happens to all of us in any kind of change, right? We have a lot of fear around AI taking jobs and things like that. But the future of it is so incredibly exciting. You probably feel that. You're like, oh my God, I can do that. Like now he doesn't have to do that anymore. Like, what do you feel do you feel that excitement about the things you're building? Because you're showing tons of automation on LinkedIn now. Is it exciting to you?
If it wasn't, I wouldn't, right? And there's this weird line you have to not cross, which is the hypey, broy. Can I say douchey? I could say douchey, right? Kind of line versus the helpful, educational, supportive line. And it really is hard to do in like a 1 or 2 minute video, not to be too sensational. But I think with the right lens, it is so exciting because I'll tell you one of my most favorite stories about why this is exciting. Most people in their firms are the person. They're the one leading the thing. And you start having a team around you, and sometimes that thing is still you for a really long time. And you've you've encouraged for a long time for people to delegate and to do the things that they are great at and empower their team, bring on a team. You and Julie, like this is a great case study. We have this thing now called the Strategic Projects and Operations team. And like, I am no longer the tech person in the firm. And I love that more than anything because I love sitting in that seat of, okay, I'll go play around with everything, see what sticks, let it filter through my business partner and let them kind of determine how it affects the operations. To me, that's a cool thing. And the story goes like, we had a dev team. We had 5 tech people. We did some failures big time around that. But one cool thing kind of came out of it. The people that were involved got experience, and some of them went on to do their own things. And one person stayed, and he kind of learned all the things that I was working on. And now like he's the tech brain. And then within that group, he's training all the other people, including his boss. And with that, they're also encouraging all the other team members through their organized training, but also their informalized osmosis. And now I feel like we now have this, like, not a top-down approach to tech, but we have this sort of semi-organized group education path that everybody's kind of on. They're all in different parts, but now I could confidently say there's 3 to 4 tech people and then maybe 30 others on their journey versus it just laying on one person's shoulders. And that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're of a firm size that can do that, right? Where you are hiring people that can really focus in ways you can't, and they are teaching you. And, probably the things you're showing us online are just, you're just very barely touching the surface of really the depth of what you go through in the firm and what this person may be building. And so it has a lot to do with the firm you built and the culture. Like that has always been huge to you and Josh, the culture and the people. That's that story in our book. It's like, you always have to have the right people on the team. And I guess that's just played out even to now, right? Through and it shows in your technology, I'd imagine, internally.
How do you address that one person risk for tech in your firm?
How do I?
Yeah. Like,
tell me more. Because there's
how
tons of risk.
Yeah. How are you approaching education and dipping toes inside of your firm? Yeah.
We have to have other people that do that with us and for us, and then take the weight of it, because, as firm leaders, we can't take on every bit of that. So we do a lot of planning. We're like, we are going to use this tool. Let's figure out how we're going to use the tool. Vlad, can you look at the security of this tool? And let's come together as a team and let's look at it together. And it ends up not being any brainchild of anything I create. It's just the vision of this tool is something that's really going to change our clients and our team, and we're going to use it. Let's all figure it out how to. So I guess we spread that risk is kind of what we're doing.
What was the last big endeavor that you did in your firm around a tech adoption?
Yeah, it was probably figuring out really the front part of the AI recording and the notes. Last year, figuring out, all right, we've got to use this. We're all typing up our notes. That's no longer like we can't even do it as good as the tools can. And we had to come together as a group. So we created little pods and we broke our team out into breakouts, and we said, what are the risks you see when we capture this knowledge? Where are we going to put the recordings? How are we going to keep it? When do we not record, right? When do we have to ask for permission? Those are things we have to think about. And that really was the last time, we did that. And now we're kind of at the wall of agentic AI, and we're like, okay, we're about ready to have to push that in, and we've got to go through the team and figure out how are we going to push that through service, because service is a huge part of we're going to use a tool to serve our clients. So that's what we're going to be doing, getting our team's feedback on that.
Yeah, let's call a spade. Like, we live in a world right now where the techiest of the techiest are still having issues with AI agents, right?
Yeah.
It is a thing. Do we think that this is going to come overnight and just change our whole workflow, our whole way? I don't, not even close.
Yeah.
And I'd actually say, I'm not doing any investment into agents other than understanding how they work, what tools exist, and the odd playing around with it just to feel good that I don't need to spend so much time on it.
Right.
I think what you did is exactly what the majority of firms should do, which is get familiar, introduce a process that's not high risk, right? It's high reward, not high risk. And you get to dip your toes in a few fundamental technology components. Like, one, cool, you got a recorder, which means you now have data. Where are you going to store that data? Is it going to be in the app? Is it going to be somewhere else? And it brings up a great conversation around, well, what happens when I don't like this recorder anymore? Or this agent needs access and it's not getting access. How easily can I get that out? Those are all really good conversations to have.
Yeah, and they're hard.
They're hard. And then you have that discussion around, well, now that I have this stuff, should I automatically run an automation on it and store it, use it, analyze it, or is it just going to sit there? Or do I do it manually? And there's no right or wrong answer. There's just continual conversations around what to do with that data, how it affects you. And it starts to exercise those muscles of oh yeah, I can just go one more step so I don't have to do this one thing that Jeremy does every single week.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. That's what gets me excited about AI, because
Yeah.
even in one of the sessions we're going to do in Atlanta, it's going to be about the autonomous nature of processing meeting transcripts and how you can do that without lifting a finger in a helpful way. Great. I think it's going to be a great session, because people will hopefully take that one next step versus just having the recording. And well, who knows? This tech is going to get better, and there's going to be more use cases than meeting transcripts. But just getting your toes in and understanding what an automation is, how you use AI with it, what tools are out there for it. Those are the fun things.
Yeah. Well, okay. So at a basic, can just describe generative AI, agentic AI, and I think we all started, generative AI. I guess, is that a couple years ago now, or are we going on 3 years?
Well,
of ChatGPT.
Yeah, end of November 2022 is when ChatGPT was commercially available. And
okay.
On December 5th, 2022, I posted my first bank feed automation bot. 5 days later.
Dude, did you use ChatGPT?
Of course.
How did you do it 5 days? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I found out a way to process the bank statements through an API using OCR, and then it wrote the code in the back end to be able to process it all and use the APIs. I didn't know how to do that before, but it did it with, what was it, ChatGPT 3 or
I can't remember. Yeah.
GPT-3, that's what it was, GPT-3.
Yeah. We're talking about it like it was, 30 years. You
years
remember
ago.
30 years? Yeah. It's like 2.5 years ago. But now agentic AI, right, is so solidly, something we should be leaning into. And of course, it becomes a buzzword in a sense, though it's actually a real thing. But what is the difference of generative and agentic, and kind of how do we need to think about it in the accounting profession?
I mean, I think the simplest way is to think that generative creates new content based on learned patterns and the way that the LLMs are set up. So just think about it as creating something new. And agentic is about taking action on a specific goal or outcome. Right. So typically that's autonomously when you throw the word agentic in, but it could also be with certain steps that is not so autonomous. So think about it as actions versus creating new content based off of a request.
Yeah. And so at this point, would you say generative AI, the thought partner that it can be now to us, that when you start playing with that's what really blows your mind, right? And then when you learn how far you can push a tool, it is truly mind-blowing. But even the excitement of that leads people to fear, and they're like, but now I'm going to lose how to think and how to spell check and all of this stuff. And it's like, I just want to push this thing all the way to the wall, and you can't push it to a wall. So even the generative side is so exciting. And should we be leaning in to that heart? Should we give up some of our just real quick thought research processes and give them over to that tool?
I think there's a fine balance. I don't think so. I think we are the culmination of what we've been building in our firms in terms of our frameworks for how we do our discussions with clients, how we work internally. Every firm's a little different. It's kind of mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
And with so much difference comes so much power. And I feel like when you match that difference to a really powerful AI or LLM or model or whatever you want to call it, you're going to supercharge what you do and make it a little bit easier, and might even let you work on your firm process and your firm framework and your firm operating procedures more because you do lean in. And I think about how we operate, and one of the major decisions we made when we kind of took a step back was we got rid of CFO services. We got rid of the things that were the most risky, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to have a great CFO pipeline and people
It
stay
is
with
hard.
you a long time.
It's hard.
It's hard, right? So
Yeah.
we said, well, what do people want to pay for, and how can we keep it repeatable but also enjoyable for people doing the work? And we said, let's stop at controller. We'll start at APAR, right? Payroll, bookkeeping, right up to controller, and like that's our offering.
Yeah.
And what's kind of cool is like now it's more repeatable. It's less advisory, but because we have this like these chops of how we worked in the past and how to prep a cash flow statement and like the common areas that we would bring up on a monthly call, now we can take that, match it up with these really powerful reasoning models, ingest some data, and then all of a sudden get an output that preps us for these meetings at a controller level without needing to do what we did in the past, which was manual first reviews and maybe missing something because we're all human. And like, that's what I love.
Yeah, that's very cool. And and I was on a podcast recently just talking about AI and its ability to help us in advisory. And of course, advisory is in those CFO and controllership levels. And I said, advice is always done with a human. It's a human speaking to a human. And so hopefully AI will take away a lot of things we don't need to do with our fingers, and we can actually book more meetings with our clients. And we're having this work prepped for us because those humans still need comfort and care. They're worried about their businesses and things like that. So is that how you think about what AI is going to do to advisory? Is it going to allow us to be with people more or something else? Here's what I hope. I hope I get to be with people more. That's what I hope. That's what I want, and that's what I like to do. It's what I love to do, and it's what I'm made to do, is to be with people. And I want to lean into the tools because I want to be with people more, and I don't want to do things that are me by myself. Now, we all need time alone. I'm not saying that, but in service through a firm, our value and our purpose is to be with people and to comfort them in all the ways that a tool can't really aid them. And that's what I hope is true. And I think that's what's going to be true. But I don't know that firms will do that, right? They may go, we're awesome at automation, and then all they care about is not talking to humans. It's having the bot talk back to people. And that's blowing up in people's faces already. So I hope it's the opposite for us.
Yeah, and we can't lose the lens of today is today, tomorrow's tomorrow, and things could be different. The tech will always change. It'll get better. And if we take like today, the day of the recording, I look at what is available out there, and holy cow, is that ever powerful. Like I could take our entire operating procedures. I could take how we run a meeting. I could take the meeting transcripts for the last few months of this client interaction, and I could put their financials all into, and today it's O3 Pro, which is only available on the $200 a month plan. And I could throw that in there. It could take 10 minutes, 20 minutes to go through it. I could turn on deep research if I wanted to and make it go 20 minutes. And it could give me back some incredible insights about the industry, economic factors, public competitor data, benchmarking of our own clients if I wanted to include it, insights, questions to ask, just things that we talked about 2 years ago that might be relevant with some transactions that occurred in the GL. Like, it's that powerful today. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when you think about spend, specifically around ChatGPT or Claude or Microsoft or not Google because it's free, but they think, okay, $20. Is that worth it to go from free to 20? Yes. And,
totally.
and if you're thinking about going to ChatGPT, do the $30 and go to Teams to be a little bit more secure.
Yeah.
However, as accountants, we cringe up and we go into little balls around the $200 a month plan.
Right.
And I wouldn't, like, that one decision to spend $170 more per month could unlock tens of thousands of dollars of value, of time saved, of things you'll learn about yourself. Like, I actually can't believe how cheap $200 is versus what I'm getting on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, sometimes. Yeah. Well, I think you would say this. I'm like, you don't need to be using free plans. It feels silly at this time. I mean, even on the paid plans, I'm getting locked out because of my limits, and I'm building these huge courses, and it's but it's so mind blowing. I'm like, I forget, what am I paying? Like, $100? What? That's all I'm paying for this. It's mind blowing. But I think people do get scared of spending money. But would you say this is not your typical APAR tech spend? Like, if you're using that as your mindset, right? Because some of those products can be expensive, but they do something really good. This doesn't just do something really good. It creates it is a thought partner, or it's a person automatically that can think way deeper than you can. So the cost is still about similar to some of our accounting and APAR products, but it's like 20,000 people thinking for us at the same time. I don't know. That's how I view it. It blows my mind.
I never thought about it until you just said that. And I think I could categorize our tech spend into 3 buckets. Your core must have non-negotiables, right? Your Xero, your QuickBooks, your Carbons, your financial senses, your PMs, whatever, your Googles, your Microsofts, like boom. Then you have these things, I guess I'd call them utilities. These things that exist because they fill a void today. And those are most at risk because all it takes is one of your foundational tools to introduce this, and now you're questioning whether or not you need it. And then you've got right. And how fast have we seen this already? I've got multiple friends, multiple people that have shared that they're like, you know what, I'm going to give up this $10 client app, and just because my big guy or my big tool added it, right? Which is so good. And I think we have to be curious, like we have to be weary of this because data access is just as important as the utility that it has, because if you can't move some of that stuff over, what do you lose, right? And meeting transcripts are a great example. And then the third bucket is it's this new thing. This like cheat sheet, this always on AI that's sitting with you. It's your person. It's your no dumb questions, and like that's new. Like we never thought we'd be working like that when we were going through school or when we were throwing ourselves in the trenches. So how cool is that? And I love it. I mean, good advice is that you pick a tool, you get really great at it, and you stick with your work. I'm a little different in that I actually think there's value in learning a couple tools so that you go a little faster and you lean into the one that fits your work style and your needs better. Because there are certain, like if you're more technically inclined, maybe having ChatGPT and Claude together are great because they kind of release new things. They work differently. You can do some techier things with Claude that you can't do with OpenAI now, but it'll all change. And if you're not as techie and you're just like, I need to learn a new skill, great. Stick with one, learn the basics, go play. Don't feel like you have to take 1,000 courses to figure out how to do it. Like you're going to exercise those muscles just by, continuing to see how other people are doing it, but also working yourself through with good questions.
Yeah. So the generative tool is a third tech spin category for you. I never thought about it that way, but it is. And so, which means we probably shouldn't be comparing it to some of our other utilities and baseline accounting products. But yeah, it's different. But I do want to ask you how to sort through things. So OpenAI has ChatGPT, Anthropic with Claude, and Google Gemini, and all these others. There's a lot of big players. They're all doing kind of the same thing. But there's they all have CEOs, and a lot of them are fighting with each other. That stuff is really weird because I'm trying to just use one of their products, but there's so much political and economic stuff where they're they have opinions about their tool or opinions about somebody else's tool, and a lot of that is the throes of the security, and they don't care about AI as being good for humankind. And do you care about all of that stuff around the tool? Or are you going to just lean into Claude or ChatGPT? What about all that other stuff that just gets confusing, I think, from some of the leaders of these organizations?
I know you're asking me, but I'll give a general answer first.
Yeah. I want to know what Chad thinks.
I actually think it's okay to do whatever you want. Like, you make whatever decision you want. And some people are politically motivated, some are economically motivated, some are selfish, some are giving. Everybody's personality is a different smorgasbord of how they then act or use a tool. I'm in this weird little position where I want to be part of the conversation, and we'll never know even the majority of information, not even close. But to be part of the conversation, you kind of have to play around with them all. And I find new models come out, I'm playing around with them. Every month I do this roundup, and I post it where it's, 5 pages single spaced of all the AI and accounting updates every single month. So if you're not paying attention to the last Mistral model, cool, like here it is. Or did you know Xero did this thing back in the help docs or something? And I love playing around with that. So I personally don't have anger or politically motivated decisions that help me make decisions. I'm going to use all the tools. But one of the updates I did just yesterday was that OpenAI started purchasing data chips from Google instead of using Microsoft data centers. And that just happened this last month. And it signals that fight you talked about, and the diversification.
Microsoft and OpenAI were deeply embedded with one another. So
now they're kind of fighting, right? And then maybe they'll be friends again. Who knows? But it's interesting to see how this all plays out. But at the end of the day, like, if you really come back to it, is the business model solid? Are the people that I'm working with, am I protecting their jobs? Am I making the right decisions alongside of the framework we have to operate within the company so that they continue to have jobs? Like, that's what gives me the motivation to keep learning this stuff, because I want to offer more opportunities to the existing team. I don't want our team to get smaller. I want us to be able to serve more, to have more interesting work as we become more efficient, not the other way of cutting costs.
Yeah. Well, I think we've learned that too, is that AI will allow us to grow without growing headcount. And that is like not even a pipe dream, But a lot of people view it another way, which is AI lets me go fire people. And I care about people. You do too. You just said, I don't want my team to shrink, which is, I've never heard anybody say that, but it's like most people talking about AI, they're like, now I get to cut a third of my team, and you want those people in your life. And so what it's allowing you to do, and you and Josh, is grow without overwhelming your current team, but also to keep them in your life.
I want to share a story, because I don't know a single firm that has their data so organized amongst their project management, their CRM, their billing, their proposals, their advisory work, their accounting work. Like, again, I don't know a single company that has like an amazing database that is linked, it's real time, it's helpful. It's one of the biggest issues technically I see in 99% of firms. Maybe you know firms, but like, there's always something that's disparate, or it's weird, right? So we've been working for 2 years on the concept and implementation of organizing this. Actually, it started in 2020 with our first kind of big failed data aggregation tool that we built in Bubble. And the idea was, it was like, hey, how can we get all this stuff together? And then it broke for lots of reasons. And then we're like, okay, I love the concept of what we're doing. How can we simplify this? So then we moved to Google Sheets, and we're like, okay, let's just focus on how to organize this. How do I grab my Xero data, my Carbon data, my Google data, my Dropbox data, my billing data, the proposal data, the budgeted hours, information that's on the proposal, the 350 data points that every single customer has of ours. How do we put that all into one place? And what's kind of cool is that we didn't start with the tech. We started with the idea that this is going to be an evolving build. We're going to use EOS, love EOS, and we're going to pick the rocks every 3 months that get us closer to where we need to be. And now, like, I don't even think we'll be in a place in a year, 3 years in, on just using these Google Sheets, to be able to confidently say, now I can build the app, now I can build the database, now I can do the thing. Because we've learned so much about ourselves. We're like, oh, we need to capture this piece of data there. How do we change that procedure? Oh, we need this automation every time it gets updated to go here, here, and here. And all that takes time. So I think we need to give ourselves a little bit of leeway and just recognize that we're operating like an old profession that has really disparate systems and could use some consolidation. And while some tools can help, it really is about changing your head and your mind around what procedures are really important to you and how you can get that data all in one place.
Yeah, that's wild. There are some companies popping up that are helping firms, perform agentic AI type procedures. They're helping them. And they said the first thing they have to do is they have to audit where your data is. And you've been learning this for 3 years, and you find out, wow, we're not good at this. And it's because I guess we don't have a lot of strategy to our data. We just get it and shove it somewhere. We're like, I guess Box can hold that. And then later you go, well, there's 20 more products that are better, and they're all hooked to each other in some certain way. So in a sense, we are a knowledge-based profession. So we'll always have some kind of disparate outlying wrangling of data. Is that always going to make agentic AI models difficult? Where the data is, the fact that it's not all together, will that always be hard? I wonder.
I wonder too, because I think the firms that organize their core data will have a better time when the agents come. And I feel like I'm like in a 3-year prep phase to just flick a switch.
That's a trick, dude. That feels huge to me. It's the data that you're really working behind the scenes that probably none of us are really. I'm not really thinking about organizing my data. That's not on my mind. But it sounds like that actually might be foundational to just implementing any kind of agentic change or automation. It makes sense though when you say it.
Could be wrong, but I feel like that's the right move for us anyway.
Yeah. And you've been doing it for a long time now, so you're already do you feel you're ahead of the game?
I've never felt ahead. I feel like anybody that does is having a little bit of a delusional moment. Being ahead is it's a weird place to be in, because I always feel like I'm behind. I know Amazon is not looked upon very well, but they always say they're on day one, right? Same here. It's like, I don't know. All I care about is that customers want to pay. We have a very easy business model to operate within, and this is kind of funny. I don't know if we need to get into this, but like, we actually stopped value pricing and went to budgeted hours because it was so hard. We couldn't make it work with 120 employees and so much stuff. But I feel like if we put so much effort into that versus something else, it might have worked. But I don't know. We just went back to calculators and inputs and selling time versus and making it not hourly, but this idea that there's a standard budget every month. And for some reason, our clients are just like, you know what? The reason I like this is because now I can pull the lever. If I don't want to spend 8 hours on bookkeeping, I can have a conversation that says, maybe we don't need to do so many accruals. Maybe we can batch up this one thing and bring it down and save a couple $100. I like that conversation for now. I think it is the thing that allowed us to get a hold of our capacity.
I love that.
Do you love it? You're the value pricing king.
well, here's the thing we learn, and in the book we're clear about this. We're like, Y'all, there is no right way to do this, because when you implement something with, 15, 30 people, 120 people is a different firm. You think we can never get to a place where we feel like I've got this figured out now. And boy, that is not true. And when you've done this long enough, like you and I have, you go, I'm never going to say that again. I'm not going to say I've got this figured out, because you don't and you can't. These are human organizations full of people with thoughts, ideas, AI. Who knew that was coming? Well, I guess we probably all could have known that, because we've been working on AI for many years, but it changes our life. So you have to move to something different that now supports a larger organization where the owner can't value price every single interaction with every client. It's not possible at a 120 person firm. There's no way.
No, it's really hard, and I think the people that have figured it out are fantastic, and like they've obviously focused really well. But on that topic of focus, I wanted to bring it back to the tech adoption, because I meet so many accountants that say, like, where do I start? What do I do? I'm not a techie. I don't know what to do.
Sure.
And before you answer that question, you almost have to look at the way we've learned other skills in our lives. University for me, I won't say it was a complete waste, but I didn't learn the core things of what I do today in university.
Right. I didn't either.
No.
At all.
But, you learn how to learn, you learn how to procrastinate, you learn about the system and how that works.
Right.
You thank your parents for giving you the opportunity.
All that. Yeah.
All that stuff. But at the end of the day, you recognize that to learn a new skill, you can be proficient in as early as 5 hours, 10 hours. And people forget that sometimes. And like, what else are you doing over the course of a month where you can't spend 5 hours on something that you believe is important?
Yeah.
And I see people inside of within discussions I'm having with people, they're like, you know what? All I did was I took a weekend. And I made mistakes, and I played around with building tools using Lovable and Vercel and Windsurf and all these things. And they're like, man, that was bad. But I had no idea about databases before. I had no idea how the AI can do these reviews. And they're like, now I feel pretty cool. Like, I feel like I know a little bit more. And I feel like if we just gave ourselves permission to spend 5 to 10 to 20 hours on something, yes, that's cool. But imagine if you had a buddy. Imagine if you had somebody that could be there to just, not be the AI. Because you don't know what to write sometimes. You don't know what to ask. You don't know how to interact.
Yeah.
But if you said something like, hey, I think you should this weekend go learn about webhooks. That's it. Go play around with them. Use them in Zapier. Use them in Xero. Use them in QuickBooks. Learn how they work. That is a foundational skill in automation that will unlock so much. And then the next week, someone says, I think you should go learn either VBA scripting for Microsoft or Office scripts, or you should go learn Google Apps Script. And you're like, oh, I had no idea every time this changed in my spreadsheet, I could just get AI to write some code and push it to Slack for an approval. I didn't know I could do that without using Zapier or Make. And it might take them 3 hours to learn it, but somebody's urging them to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the superpower of how you go from maybe spending less than 20 hours to become an expert on something versus like 200 hours of your own time.
Yeah, it's cool. No, I like that. You can learn this stuff really quickly. So we're headed towards the end of time, but I do want to ask you about security. We're a profession that has to know a lot about security, and I'll give you a kind of a setup. What I'm seeing is we in Thrival, we have a lot of tech partners, and they just sponsor our events, and I do content with them. You do that too, and you talk to them a lot, and you hear and I'm sensing they're getting more competitive. And they're launching as much AI as they can, as fast as they can, even if we don't know how to use it. And I've asked some of them, why is this happening? And they're saying, we're feeling the weight of the competition, right? We're having to push AI and our products so fast, and they're having to spend some marketing so quickly. And I've asked some of them about security, and I'll say the standard, are you SOC 2 compliant? And a handful of AI-based tools have said, Jason, that's kind of old. and it doesn't have anything to do with AI. Obviously, SOC 2 was written, a long time ago. It doesn't have anything to do with it. And then they say, honestly, nobody's really asking us about those compliance-based, requirements. And I'm like, really? Like, we're putting financial information in the tool, surely, and I'm talking tax, which is some of the most financially sensitive. And I'm just wondering, what are the products thinking about security, and what kind of responsibility, I wonder if they're feeling, because that can worry me about the security. I feel I have a responsibility to my team and a profession and our clients. How do I know if tools are secure, and how deeply can I use them with my clients' data? How do I know all that? Or do you know?
I'm pausing.
I want all the answers.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, wow.
All of them.
Wow. It's funny. I think if you talk to people and they give you a solid answer and you believe them, you're like, oh, wow, that person knows their stuff. I believe them. But like, we are in a world of change. Everything's changing. Like, we can't even figure out banking access, let alone like our data. And how many times has Google and Microsoft been hacked and our stuff leaked onto the dark web?
Yeah.
Multiple times. When I love it when people say, oh, this is not as safe as putting my stuff in Microsoft. Like, literally, Google it. Microsoft breaches last 15 years. Ton of them, right? And you're like, hundreds of thousands of people's sensitive data is all out there. And you're like, okay, my bank just got hacked. Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Canva got hacked, and now all my banking stuff's there. Like, it's all been hacked, or they've been working, or I won't say they've all been hacked, but the majority of things have been. They've been leaked or something. Yeah. And it's like what's the world we're living in? And as accountants, we love to say things like, oh, well, I could never do this because, and insert some belief about how protective we are of people's data. And like that is to a point is very true. But then you have these big, massive corporations who just are willy-nilly, just not doing very well. So I think about when I look at tools, I'll never connect my Google or Microsoft account to a tool first until I figure out what they're about. I'll use a dummy account. Then I'll play around with dummy data. Extensions inside of Sheets and inside of Excel, good luck. I'm not going to put a random extension because that is asking for trouble. You asked about SOC 2 Type 2. Fine. I mean, it's very like Americanized, right? To think about that, but like the world is thinking about AI, and like there are ISO standards that are being released around the world that are not just America first, right? And then, like, I won't say the newest one, but the one that a lot of AI companies are putting their efforts into is ISO 42001, and it's like the first international standard for like AI management systems. So if you're curious, go look at that ISO type of framework. I think a lot of apps are playing around with that one. But like, if you think about, for me, like what how am I thinking about security? Well, it's not just me. It's our team. It's working within a framework to decide what apps to use. But I start with like our entire team's using Gemini. It's free. We're a Google shop. We love it. It's enough to teach people how to rewrite things and use it in presentations and get analysis back on data that's already sitting in the Google thing. Is it as good as ChatGPT? And no, like not really for what we're using it for.
Okay.
But it's getting better, right? Like just last week, I can kind of figure out when we're recording this, the Gemini 2.5 Pro came out of preview and was generally available now. So cool. Like it's now been tested. It's getting better. Will I still put stuff inside of Teams and run analysis on it? Like, yeah, I am, because they are running SOC 2 Type 2. They've got multi-factor authentication. It's not training the model. But I'm okay with that. Some people aren't. And I think this is okay, right? But if you get to a point where you are the bottleneck for your entire firm taking some sort of step forward, then that becomes counterintuitive. And maybe you should also consult with some others in the space and not just block it because that's how you feel.
Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. This is good stuff, Chad. So tell me about Automation Town and just ways we can follow you.
Oh, two things. I mean, if we're not connected on LinkedIn now, please, I would love to connect. And I apologize for the daily LinkedIn videos, but they're letting me like have some great conversations with people. And I never thought posting this much would do that. But like, I've met with friends and new friends, and oh man, it's a great way to just expand your thought process. It was really fun. And two, we created Automation Town, which is just a geeky place for accountants to hang out. I don't think I'll ever change the pricing, but it's like $39 a month, and you just come in and there's all kinds of automations. There's weekly and monthly sessions you can attend. There's getting support for the things you build. You can talk to different agencies inside there that can build stuff for you. Just a little active community where techie people are trying to get help from others without just putting it all out online.
Yeah, and they're trying to build their firms or build their companies to with some agentic type tools. Yeah,
it's great, and I take most of the money and just bring it back and pay the people that put on the sessions and do that. Yeah. It's just a nice place to kind of hang out with other techies.
Very cool. I love it. Okay, Chad, thanks for coming on the show, man. I can't wait to see you. I haven't seen you in person in a long time. I can't wait to see you in Atlanta soon.
Congratulations on what must be at least 15 years of running this podcast for the accounting industry. You are a legend, and I'm just so happy that you asked me to do this. I'm tickled pink. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah. Well, thank you for teaching us, Chad, and we'll see you soon, man.